Hello! Today I'm going to be reviewing the Enda Iten, a lightweight trainer by the relatively new company Enda. Enda is a Kenyan company. I'm going to talk about their story a little bit later. Very pleased with um, the production of this shoe. Um, it's uh, it's great for $100 shoe. The price point is spot on. The shoe it performs really well. I'm going to talk about that as well. The shoe's simple. It's a 4 millimeter offset. A size 9 is 7.9 ounces, so very lightweight, but very functional. I went down a half size, so my normal size is 11 and a half. I went with an 11 in this shoe. Um, the uh, the company's very concerned with their environmental impact. Another story we'll talk about as well. I love the fit of the shoe. They have a more rounded toe box. Obviously, not as round as an Ultra or a Topo, but the fit does feel really good. It's not as tapered as a lot of shoes, so it's very roomy. Um, so far as the fit goes, not overly wide, but definitely will accommodate a lot of feet. The only feet that it probably would not accommodate is a high volume foot. If we look at the shoe, you can see how thin it is this way. So I would say that if you have a high volume foot, if your foot is thicker this way, this is not as great of an option because of how thin this is. The volume is a lot lower. I have a low volume foot, so this seemed to fit me um, really well. Um, my arch is a medium, low to medium arch. This shoe accommodated that very well. It doesn't feel like it has a very high arch. A lot of lightweight trainers you're not going to find a very high arch in. So this one is, I would say, a low to medium arch. Felt good underfoot. It's not too narrow in the midfoot here, so I still felt like I had something under my foot. A lot of times, lightweight trainers can get too curved, and this portion here gets too thin, and you don't feel the support under your arch. I did not feel that in this shoe. That was not the case here. The heel itself, they've molded the heel. You can see it actually comes up in cups, so that's something they call out. Your heel actually sits lower, so this comes around and cups the heel. It is quite low. The heel counter itself is low, so it's when you go in, it doesn't feel like it's going to slip or come out. It's secure for sure, but just to make you aware, it won't accommodate insoles or orthotics very well. I would say this is not a shoe you should look towards for that purpose. The upper itself is it's very flexible and breathable. They went with a lot of heat welds, they've eliminated many seams, but there is one seam that I want to call out, and it's on this lateral side here, the outside. This heat weld on the inside of the shoe. It feels like there's a ridge, so there's probably some kind of seam that they were trying to cover up with a heat weld. When the shoe flexes, when it flexes this way, it pressed down on my pinky toe, and I did a workout with this shoe for its first test run, and over time that pressure from that ridge caused a blood blister on my pinky toe. So just to make you aware of that, you may feel the same, as again, this is a low volume shoe, so that little seam that's my only negative on this shoe so far. But other than that, I was very pleased with how the shoe functioned. You can see that their logo here, it is a raised logo, and if that's too far forward, especially at that flexion point, it can cause a wear point in the shoe. But they've moved it back far enough, so I don't feel that's going to be an issue for where a lot of times the shoe will get a hole out here. and that can be because of a raised logo like this. But in this case, they did a good job of moving it back far enough that I don't think it's going to cause any wear there. So good design on the upper, aside from that one seam there. The let's see, the midsole itself. I like the fact that they just went with a simple EVA. The durometer of the EVA, or the firmness, if you will, is I'd say it's pretty high. So it's very firm under your foot, so very responsive, very snappy. I like that they didn't try to overdo the foam, in a simple lightweight trainer, especially for a new company. I think they did a great job. I used this for 1 minute repeats, and it felt great. I felt like I didn't have anything on my foot, aside from, again, that pressure point. But the actual function of the shoe, the flexion and everything, it felt great in motion. Couldn't give this shoe enough raving about how this performed for those 1 minute intervals. I use it as well for a short jog. You can kind of see. I live on a dirt road, so the dirt road, it's some gravel, so you can feel the gravel, as again, not a lot of EVA under the forefoot, but it wasn't to the point where it was painful. You'll notice rocks, that's all, if you run on dirt. The foam, again, feels really good underfoot. Enough cushioning. Used it on the road as well. And I didn't have any complaints. Didn't feel like I was pounding or slapping or lacking in cushion. So good job on the midsole design. The outsole, as I was just showing you, it's carbon rubber. You've got basically full ground contact, which makes for a nice transition through the shoe from heel to toe. You don't feel like there's a break when you're running. In other words, when you go in through your foot gate, it feels smooth all the way through because of that consistent ground contact. They used a very thin layer of carbon rubber. You can kind of see that, probably a millimeter or less of carbon rubber, so it doesn't add a lot of weight to the shoe. But a nice grippy rubber. Felt good on the roads. No issues on the dirt. I didn't go anywhere technical. Obviously, I wasn't running on trail or anything like that. But very simple design on that as well. Let's see. Their story is great. They're creating jobs in Kenya, so they're giving back to their communities. They're providing portions of each sale to community initiatives within Kenya, which is great. They're purchasing carbon offsets for each shoe made, so they're trying to have less impact on the environment, and they're reducing their carbon footprint as well. This year, 2020, they're reducing their corporate travel emissions by 60%. They're reducing their freight emissions by 80%, and they're trying to lessen their use of paper by 70%. So they're really environmentally concerned as well. I like that story in this company. They also have a lot of call-outs. These lines here represent the Kenyan independence. They use a lot of patterns from the Kenyan tradition, and they call out Harambe, which is all for one. So creating community, that's awesome. I really I'm proud of this company for what they're doing. I would suggest this shoe. They also have a moderate trainer, so something with a little bit more cushion at $120. You can find them online. They're direct to consumer sales. It's I believe endasportswear.com is their website. So I hope you'll give them a try. I'm going to try to pick up the trainer and do that review as soon as I do. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you next time.